Welcome to the 5 Divine Tools to Increase Your Revenue in 5 Days. We are doing a re-record of Tiffany Coughran's video from earlier this week. We were having some technical difficulties there, and so we want to make sure that you are getting all of this amazing goodness, and we're also going to kind of tie everything together at the end. Let's see, we're just going to check on volume here. Do we want to mute any kind of sound or anything? I'm hearing just a little bit of an echo. I don't know if that's on my side, but I want to make sure we are good to go. There we go. Awesome. So much better. So just by way of introduction, I am Elise Smith, your faith-based business coach with Divinely Driven Results, and I empower Christian women entrepreneurs to reach their sales goals, partner with God, and utilize biblical business strategy all in the process. And today I am joined with some amazing women here who are going to share a little bit more about what they do and how they do it, and really what that journey has looked like, especially for Danielle, who's been working with both Tiffany and I when it comes to the book writing process. So if you guys are watching this live, we want to see who is with us. So tell us, have you ever thought about writing a book? Let's do a 1 as a no, I haven't thought about it, or maybe that's not great for me, or 2 that I am totally thinking about it right now, or have thought about it in the future or in the past. So let's go ahead and get some interaction here, and let's introduce our amazing guest. So Tiffany, tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. If you've ever thought about writing a book, this is going to be a great session for you to watch. Sometimes we have these ideas of maybe a message we want to share. We just don't know how to package it. For me, I struggled a lot with addiction and loss in my life, and realized that writing a book was the best way that I could kind of put a capsule around what I was teaching and share it with other people, and putting it together in a formula so that it could become a coaching program became kind of a signature way that I was able to share a message. As that happened, doors began to open, and I shared not only my coaching tools with other people, other women who were looking to have God in their lives and but I also started sharing on the other side with other speakers and coaches and specialists how I was writing my books and how I was marketing. And so it's really opened a lot of opportunities for me to live a life that I love, that where I get to have my grandbabies and I get to travel. I get to do a lot of really cool things while I'm also sharing a message that impacts people on a deep level.
Love that. Yeah, and she is an incredible coach. I've been working with her not only just in the coaching world, but in business in general for quite some time. And Danielle and I have had the great opportunity of working with her on writing our books. So Danielle, I want to introduce you as our guest as well. Do you want to tell a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Hi. I've been on this group with you before, Elise, so it's nice to be back. I'm Danielle. I'm a health and wellness coach, and I've been coaching for about, I think I'm in my 4th year now. And I work with mostly women one-on-one and in group coaching, but I was really kind of noticing that I was saying the same thing over and over to the people that I was working with, and the same problems and obstacles kept coming up for my ideal client, right? We kind of tend to work with similar people that have similar problems, and I had some really powerful solutions for them, and was starting to see really amazing results for my clients. And just over the last year and a half, I really started feeling like I have a message and I need to package it somehow. And I had this idea and this inspiration to go ahead and write a book, and that immediately felt both exciting and overwhelming. But there's a way that God works, that when he inspires you to do something, he usually also gives you the people and the tools and the resources to be able to make it happen. And it's so cool for me to share this because I'm sitting with 2 of the women that really helped make it possible. And my book is coming out at the end of the month. So yeah.
We're super excited for you for sure. Well, good. So Tiffany, tell us, I'm sure that there are some people who are watching this who are like, okay, maybe it's a good time for me to write a book. Maybe it isn't. Talk to us about when is a right or a wrong time to write a book.
I think Danielle hit it on the head. She was working with clients already. She had a certain perspective or assumption about how to help these people, and she was repeating herself. She had certain things that she knew worked time and time again, and needed a faster, more effective way to get it out to more people. That is the perfect time to write a book. The wrong time, I would say, is if you're still trying to figure out what you want that book to do. Your book should actually do something for you. And if it doesn't do something, usually what happens is people sit down at their computer and they write, and they're writing meanders. They're not really sure where to go with it or what to say in it. They just feel compelled to write. That's the wrong time to launch a book. The right time is when you know you have a come from or a perspective or a message that is really transformational. You want to take people on a journey, and a book can be the perfect way to educate people, to help your specialty get known and you as a specialist. But it can also bring people into a coaching program or a consulting one-on-one relationship, and big deal.
Yeah, love that. I know, especially as I've been working with you on writing my book, which I'm super excited about finishing at some point here, called The Faith Strategy. But the thing is that I thought of writing a book, and I didn't want it to just be like an autobiography. And I knew that I had a story to share, but I didn't know how to monetize that, right? And especially when we were talking to Danielle, kind of that same concept is she had these great tools. And what's amazing about working with Tiffany is that she helps you to figure out how to put that into your business. So love all of these concepts here. Tiffany, tell us, what's the biggest myth about writing a book? Let's demystify something.
Yeah. One of the most interesting things, I have people contact me and they say, well, to be famous, I want this to get me out there. There's a perception that automatically, write it and they will come. And I think that is probably the worst myth out there, because you really have to have teeth in what you're writing for people to come. It has to be part of your overall marketing strategy. And so the myth is that you can just write a book and get famous or get rich. Yes, that can happen. I want to say that. Yes, it can happen, but it doesn't happen without a marketing plan. So what we do is we actually work with you on your marketing plan, which will grow even before the book launches. So we run your marketing strategy, and your book is a component of that. So if you've ever wanted to be an influencer, you've ever wanted to impact or change the world, you can, but you got to work on your marketing strategy first and have your book as part of that.
Definitely. Yeah. So Danielle, tell us a little bit more about what that process has been like for you, especially when it comes to understanding the book being part of that marketing strategy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I can see what you're saying, Tiffany, that a lot of people have kind of this misconception that a book is there to make you famous. A book is there to just like bring in just millions of dollars in book sales. And I've got to say, like, that's not really how I'm going into this. That's not really what I'm expecting more revenue to come through the book itself, like actual book sales. What I am expecting, and it goes along with what Tiffany was just saying, this book is a piece of my marketing machine that is going to do so much work for me of qualifying the clients, right? Elise teaches prospecting a lot, and a big part of prospecting new leads is qualifying. Well, it's a perfect qualifier, because if someone is going to take the time to read that book first of all, they're going to have a really amazing transformation already just by reading it. And then they're going to be all the more ready to come and work with me on the next level. And the way that Tiffany guided me to write this book, there's touch points throughout that people can go over to my website and opt in for some tools and resources. And I've got to say, when we went through the beta reading stage with my book, my beta readers were sad that those things weren't live yet. They weren't available yet. So they had the book and it was talking about these resources that weren't available yet, but they really felt like, oh, wow, that is going to help me put some of these things into action. And they were so excited about it. But yeah, so what I'm expecting and hoping for is that this book will do the qualifying, some lead generation for me. And then it does funnel people to my website. It funnels them to, come and sign up for a consult with me, that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that and expecting that my coaching business will grow. I have a group coaching program. I have the container. It's there. It's wonderful. We have about a dozen women in it right now, but it has the capacity to multiply. And I'm hoping and expecting that the book will kind of be the lead generator to grow that group coaching program.
Yes, love, love, love. And the thing is that that's exactly what Tiffany and I are working on with our clients, is to be able to make sure that that's part of that marketing strategy, just like she was talking about, that it's not just necessarily about the sales of the book, but how that really fits into growing your group or your one-on-one or whatever it is that you're offering. So as we are doing this, please chat in below. We want to see what kind of books are in your heart. What kind of book are you wanting to write about? So we're starting to demystify some of these books here. Another thing is, how long does it take to write a book? I think sometimes we think it's going to take a year or 2 or 5. So does it have to take that long, Tiffany?
It doesn't. And again, back into, what do you want your to do? Actually, what do you want it to do? Once you have that and we wireframe it for you with all of the right ingredients, it actually can take under 6 months. Really, that's about average, but it's really fast to get the book out. And it's really fast. We kind of want you to be really marketing the book before it comes out. We want you to start utilizing the components of the book and already be getting more traction in your business before the book comes out. I think, Danielle, you've seen that already.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiffany and I were just talking yesterday, actually. We were on a call and I shared with her, I said, my client docket has never been this full. So yes, the business has absolutely grown along the way. I've absolutely been sharing kind of my journey of writing the book. You can go to my Instagram and you can see the post where I'm sitting in my backyard drinking some herbal tea and I've got a stack of books and notebooks on my table. And that was September of 2020. And I said, here's my, I'm putting my foot down. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this. And then you guys came along and we wireframed my book. I think it was October 6th. And yeah, here we are. This book is going to be live.
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
that first day is really when you get clarity and teeth around your message, so you don't sound like anybody else. And then with that wireframe, you build out kind of the guts of your wireframe, but you've got all the components right there and you can start marketing that already.
Yeah, and that framework is so powerful, guys. Like, I was extremely intimidated to start writing my book because, you sit down with this blank page in front of you, whether that's on your computer or your notebook, and you're just like, what am I even doing? Maybe you have some thoughts around what you want it to look like, but you don't know exactly how to pull it all together. And especially how to pull it together where you are going to be the expert and you are going to be leading them through this journey that's going to make a huge impact on them, and then selling your products or services at the end as well, or really throughout the entire process. And so just that couple of days that I know I spent with Tiffany in that framework that she gives us, holy cow, it not only makes it super easy, but it makes it super fun as well. Right, Danielle?
Oh, absolutely. I'm remembering that day and the week following and the months following, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun writing my book, and yeah, it was really powerful. Like you're saying, Elise, you have this idea, you have this message, you know your stuff, but you've never written a book before. You don't know how to piece it together. It was so powerful for me to be able to just spend the day with you two ladies and really get feedback and input. And I walked away really feeling like this book would not have been as effective to do what I wanted it to do, which is create a transformation in the lives of my readers and direct people back to my coaching programs. I don't know that I would have been able to do that by myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So Tiffany, if someone hates typing away at their computer, can they still write a book?
Absolutely. It's never been more doable before. No, we've got lots of tools at our fingertips. We've got recording devices. We've got transcription services. You can use Otter. So some of my clients, we wireframe their book, and then instead of actually typing it out, they speak that through that wireframe from frame to frame. They talk about it on a recording device. They have it transcribed inexpensively, and then they go back and do the editing. So it can be really, really fast. And that, you know, depending on how you want to do it, I love typing. I kind of like that experience, but some people hate it. So some of my clients, you know, they write their book as they're driving, talking into a recording device, and they get it done very quickly that way. So it's really up to you. It's just putting your message in a wireframe that's already perfectly designed for your book.
Yeah, and it is perfect. And I have to kind of give a little secret here is that by the time you're done with that whole wireframe process that Tiffany's talking about, not only do you know what your book is going to be about and almost every single component of your book, but you also have an entire year of social media to go with it. Like, isn't that incredible, guys? I love it. Love, love, love your process, Tiffany. So talk to us about ghostwriting. I know that this is something that is kind of out there right now. Can ghostwriters really work?
Rarely. Rarely. I'll be honest. I've been a ghostwriter. It's hard. And let me tell you what's hard about ghostwriting and why I don't think you should use a ghostwriter. As a ghostwriter, people would tell me their story, and then I would try to write like them. I would try to write kind of from their voice or their perspective, and it's just really hard to do. I also, after ghostwriting for people, recognize that those same people that hired me as a ghostwriter, then they were like, oh, I want to write a blog, and they were awful at writing. So it really handicapped them down the road when they wanted to do other things like a YouTube channel or a blog or write their own copy for emails. So what I work really hard to do is help you identify key things, almost real estate of your own intellectual property, right? We help you plant a flag, say it like you would say it, and then we teach you the skills to write so that you can write your own copy. You can write your own blog, the skill level to do that. Even if down the road you decide that you want to hire someone to write some of your copy or some of your emails, you will have the skills to know, does that sound like me? Does it not sound like me? Is it good copy? Is it effective copy? You will know. And so I don't recommend using a ghostwriter. I recommend you learn to write your best self. That's what I recommend. And then again, if you want to hire someone later for smaller things, you'll know good copy.
Love it. Yeah. And even that concept of like finding those things that make you you. I remember sitting with Tiffany and she was asking about like my weird quirks, and it was just so fun to have that conversation because I realized, and I actually used this on a video the other day, is that every time I eat chocolate, I get chocolate somewhere on my body or my clothing. Like I will find chocolate on my elbow. Like it's the strangest thing. And I included that in the book because isn't it fun to read a book when you can get to know that person? And it's these little things that you don't think to include. Like no one's going to want to know about chocolate on my elbow, but isn't it fun to be able to kind of understand that person from a different light? And it's those tiny little details that make a good book. And so not only with that wireframe that she helps you with, but also understanding what makes you who you are and how can you share that in your book. I just love the whole process. So kind of wrapping up on the workbook here that we are having people to follow along with, and we are on page, let's see, 7. So talk to us about what are the 4 things that your book should do for you?
Oh goodness. I'm going to try to remember what I said. But really your 4 things should create a promise, what you're going to tell people, what they're going to learn. And it should create a premise, something that makes you different. Something that separates you from what other people are doing. It should market your coaching, and it should also market your professional speaking. So really looking at those 4 things, your book, if you really want to have a real sustainable career, needs to do those 4 things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like how you also talk about how you can take even just one chapter of your book and create a keynote out of it. I mean, she teaches things that I had never even thought of when it comes to book writing and how we're going to build that into your marketing strategy. So cool. Thank you so much, Tiffany. So give us, what's the one thing that you want people to know more than anything who are feeling called to write a book, but are maybe nervous to take that first step?
I think there are experiences that happen in our lives that teach us these priceless lessons. In 2009, I was widowed. My late husband passed away of cancer, and you talk about walking through that valley of death with God. And all of the things that he teaches us when we're in that valley. And for me, having a way to articulate that and use it in an effective way to bless other people that are going through grief, that are going through loss, that I felt was part of the calling of that experience, that it wasn't in vain, that I was called to equip other people and encourage other people in that valor. And so if you're feeling called, recognize that it is doable. Kind of like, the walls of Jericho. You may be feeling like you're going around and around and around, right? But on that last time around, you may actually see this stronghold change in your life. And when you feel called, God will, as Danielle said, put people in your life that can actually expedite and help you fulfill that calling. So just know where God's calling you, and know that I feel like God's economy, nothing is in vain. And so when we go through something and we have those personal revelations, God will find a way for us to bless other people with it. And if you feel called, step into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Danielle, any thoughts on that of someone who's looking to write a book and they're maybe a little bit afraid to take that first step?
I'm the type that I feel the fear and I do it anyway. Absolutely. I think when I love everything that Tiffany shared of really you can't argue with God's callings. You can't argue with God's inspiration. You can't, I mean, you can, but why would we want to? It's always comforting to me. And starting my business was a calling from God. Writing this book was a calling from God. So many things along the way have been so guided and so blessed that it's just an opportunity to see how much he can do with me, right? So I tell people, if you want the ultimate personal, spiritual, mental, emotional development program, go build a business. And now, having also written a book, I'm kind of also saying, go write a book. Those are some really powerful ways for you to partner with God and to let him show you how much you can do and what you're actually capable of if you rely on him.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us every step of the way, and that he's not going to give you that calling if he isn't going to prepare you for it, if he's not going to give you all those resources, just like you were talking about. So to kind of wrap it up here, Danielle, we just want to know, what has it been like for you to work with Tiffany and I throughout this process?
It's been a blessing. It's priceless, honestly, to have both of you on my team, in my corner. It's been so powerful because I cannot do this alone. I could not have done it alone. So to have someone to give me feedback and to share ideas and to cheer me on was just priceless. And I go back to kind of the wireframe day of really outlining the book the way we did. I loved how Tiffany, she drew out my personality and my voice. And Elise, you and I have been working together for quite a while, so it was such a blessing to have you there too, because you were like, yep, this is who Danielle is. And because anytime we put ourselves out there and we're saying, okay, I'm going to own this space of me being an expert on this topic, it's really scary, and imposter syndrome is very real. And having both of you in my corner really just helped validate my message, my voice, my ideas. And I'm coming into my book launch with a lot of confidence and a lot of clarity. And I don't think I would have that if I didn't have you guys on my team throughout that process.
Awesome. It's such an honor working with you. I mean, you've just been such a dream client, and we are so excited for your big launch. So do you want to give some information about that, by the way?
Oh, for sure. So you can go to the website to learn more about the book. This really is, I wrote it for my ideal client, but when you step back and you look at it, and I think Tiffany and Elise, you can kind of agree of, this is a book that almost everybody, especially women, need. That if you've been on the dieting roller coaster, and even if you haven't, you've probably been impacted by diet culture. And so the title of my book is If Diets Don't Work, What Does? And the subtitle, it's a doable, enjoyable guide to living the life you want. And it really is like my coaching philosophy and my coaching practice packaged in book form. You can self-coach yourself with this book. It's really, really powerful. So you can just go to ifdietsdon'tworkwhatdoes.com and you can download the first chapter for free. And we are hoping to launch on March 23rd.
Yay! Oh,
and
so
Danielle, can I say something too? And I shared this, I shared this with Danielle yesterday. So just, obviously getting to know Danielle's process, her come from, her philosophy, how she moved into better health. I have to say, I have been blessed, and my health has been blessed through this process of working on your book with you. And I believe in what you're teaching. And so it was just such a win-win to work with all three of us together and get healthier and more articulate and just be more solid in who we are. It's great synergy. And again, my body thanks you.
Thank you, Tiffany. That means a lot.
Awesome. Well, so as we are kind of wrapping things up here with the interview, Tiffany, I am just so excited to partner with you in this endeavor of the Divine Business Accelerator. That is the 1-year program where you are going to finally start getting all of the pieces put together here. You're going to work with me on understanding biblical business strategy and what you're going to do for your marketing, and then to be able to take that to another level of either becoming a speaker or an author. And that's exactly what we're talking about here today. So tell us a little bit more about your side of things, of what they're going to do when they get to work with you.
Awesome. Well, really looking at what is it that you teach, and create kind of an accordion where you have a 12-week coaching program, you have 10 to 12 presentations, you have 10 to 12 chapters in a book. And we really wireframe that down so that it goes hand in hand with what Elise is doing, so that you have the marketing, you have everything that you need to support this book, and then your book is like a silver bullet, and it just opens the way for all of these other clients. I want to kind of just hold up some of the books that my clients have done. If you can see, they've all written their books for different reasons. This one that I wrote some years ago, it's a 21-day program for women to overcome addiction. This is one that brings people into their business. So really looking at, what are you already teaching? What are you already selling? And then how can you actually create a wireframe around that to sell more? And so that's an exciting thing. And since people think, oh, well, I have to be, already, that's not true at all. This is one of my clients that does rock crawling. He's a quadriplegic. We can find in your unique story the way to launch a book that grows your business, and then partnering again with all of Elise's tools to grow that business and support that business. Going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not only do you get that framework that she teaches, and then also some online courses and some actual time with Tiffany talking about that whole process for you, but she's also going to do a read through of your book and be there for you that whole time. And so we just want to take you into our community and welcome you with open arms. We've got a couple of people who have already decided to join us here, so we're super excited to help them. We've only got 10 spots, guys. So make sure that if you are feeling called to take that next step in your business, regardless of all those doubts and those fears and the imposter syndrome, just like Danielle was talking about, let's let go of all of that and feel the fear and do it anyway, just like she was talking about, because that's the way that we're going to help you through it. So Danielle, Tiffany, thank you so much for being on today. I'm going to go ahead and have you guys drop off as we do kind of a quick wrap up. But thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm so excited to partner with you in this. Danielle, super excited to get your book out there. Way to go, girls.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so let's kind of wrap everything up here today, where we're going to put a nice little bow on everything that you have been learning over the past week. These 5 tools, guys, have been or can be really, really impactful and important to your business. So tool number 1 from day 1, right, of identifying that stuck, what's got you really stuck, and using that 5 layers deep process. And then having that daily daddy-daughter time, starting with a prayer, asking God a specific question, spending 10 minutes in the Word of God, and writing down any impressions so that you can take action on those. If you missed that, make sure that you go and check out the idea of overcoming stuck by partnering with God. So that's tool number 1, identify stuck, and then use that daily daddy-daughter time tool so that you can increase that divine guidance, which of course is going to increase your revenue, because you can't increase your revenue until you know what's holding you back. So let's overcome that and get to the bottom of what's really going on there so that we can then partner with God to understand what that next step is for you. And then tool number 2, which is exactly exactly what Tiffany talked about here today, is make sure that you are taking those steps that you feel called to do. See what it is that God has for you. Like we said, whether it's writing a book or becoming a speaker, we want you guys to know when that's a good time for you. And I can guarantee that almost any coach out there, it's a time to write your book because there's that message, there's that experience that you've been given, and that we are meant to share with the world. So tool number 2 is taking those 4 pieces and making sure if you've written a book that they do that for you. And if not, then let's write your book so that they can really do those 4 things for you. Tool number 3 is with Julie May of gap selling. I don't know if you guys had heard that concept before, but I love the idea of really identifying where someone is at, where they want to be, and showing them how you are the bridge to help them get there. And that doesn't matter whether it is on stage or whether it is on a sales call. We want to make sure that you are increasing your revenue by selling to the gap. Make sure that you can really explain how you are that bridge that helps them get there. And that is going to increase your revenue a ton. And then all these speakers gave so many more tools, but I'm just kind of making sure you guys are picking up on those biggest ones to be able to take your business to the next level. And then tool number 4 is identifying your strengths and building your brand really from those strengths. Jennifer was talking to us about how every single one of those things that we have been given, those talents, those gifts, those abilities, those strengths, that's where you start with your brand. And you can make those little tweaks to up-level your brand, and you can also take those and create a brand as well. And that way you can connect with those divine clients that you are meant to serve. So if you build your brand from your strengths, you will always win. And last but not least, but tool number 5 with Des from last night. I love the tool that he gave us, guys. Every single one of these are so life-changing, but I can tell you that if you write down 10 of your divine clients' needs and then come up with 3 solutions for those needs, whether it's part of your program or your product or your service right now, or that it's something you can create, then you can choose one of those things and create a free offer. And then you can do some of those amazing website techniques that he taught us yesterday. So I can guarantee you guys, if you write down what those needs are and you talk about how you can fulfill those needs, you're going to understand your product or service a whole lot better than you did before. So these are just 5 tools that you have been given here this week to be able to take your business to the next level, to let go of that fear and that doubt and that stuckness, right? For lack of a better word, that could be holding you back. You know that you were meant for more. And it doesn't matter if you are doing amazing in your business right now, there's always another level. Or maybe you are just getting started and you want to have that steady income coming in. Well, the fact of the matter is that we need to get you out there. And that can be so scary sometimes, but that is going to be the difference between playing small and playing big, is having a strategy to really get you out there, to give you that strong foundation that we've been talking about all week, and adding on to that layers when you're ready in your business, and having God included the entire way through. So I want to invite you guys one last time here to divinelydrivenresults.com and apply for a consult today, because there's so many pieces to this new Divine Business Accelerator. And haven't we had some amazing guests here that you'll actually be working with throughout this entire process? Whether you choose the speaker route or the author route, you get to work with Julie or Tiffany, but you'll have me the entire way through, so that even while you're working on building your speaking side of your business or your book side of the business, we're going to be growing your business the entire time. And we're just going to be using all of these amazing people and resources and tools along the way to be able to get you out there in a big way. God has given you the experiences, the talents, the gifts, and the skills that you have to be able to share with the world. And we want to give you a bigger stage to do so. So this is kind of your divine business in a box, ladies. I really want you to take this to heart. You're not only going to get weekly accountability calls, monthly strategy sessions with me. You're going to get Bible studies. You're going to get the mastermind or master classes that we have with different guests to teach us amazing biblical business strategy. Online courses come with this, and that'll be throughout the entire year. And then we're going to have that added of becoming an author or becoming a speaker and taking that to the next level with Julie or Tiffany. And we're going to have you work with Jennifer on your brand to take that even more higher than it is right now, so that you can really speak to that divine client that you were called to serve. We're going to take all that together. We're going to create an amazing website for you that is helping you to gather leads like no other, and even giving you massive exposure, branding, photography, all the whole thing, guys. I cannot believe what is in this program. So you are not going to want to miss it. Divine Business Accelerator. We've only got 10 spots open for us to be able to take you guys at this incredible introductory rate. So if you have any questions, if you are feeling that pull, we've talked about it the entire week, where you know this is the moment, this is the time for you to step up and step out, then I want you to go to divinelydrivenresults.com and apply for a consult where you and I are going to dive into your business and understand what that next step really is for you and how we can help you in your journey. Because we've got a jam-packed team that is full of knowledge and experience and heart to be able to help you move your business forward in the Lord's way. So thanks so much for joining the 5 divine tools to increase your revenue in 5 days. Make sure that you are using that workbook to the fullest. You're filling that out. You're following all these tools, and you're following your heart, because the Lord has a plan for you, and He has a plan for your business. Because I want to remind you guys, we are not just selling a product or service. We are selling an opportunity. We are selling that experience and that thing that God has for us to be able to make the world a better place, just one person at a time. We have the ability to change people's lives with our product and services that we offer, but we can only do that if we get out there in a big way. So once again, go to divinelydrivenresults.com and apply for a consult today. We want to meet you. We want to welcome you into this incredible community of Christian ladypreneurs who are here to support you. And just think about what's possible for you in 1 year. When you've got your website, you've got your branding photography, you are an amazing speaker who can sell from stage, or you have written that book that you know is that key that you needed to be able to really get out there. And that you have that strong biblical business foundation, that foundation that you know you can build your legacy upon. That's what we want to give you guys. So thanks so much, divinelydrivenresults.com, and apply for a consult today. Thanks for joining us in 5 divine tools to increase your revenue in 5 days. We will see you next time.